Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another Sunday meal prep video. I ended up getting it done. I'm doing it, I'm accomplishing it. I want to say thank you to all of you who have commented on the video that I put out on my meal plan and why there was no grocery haul because of my husband's car accident. I want to thank you all for all your kind comments. I really appreciate that. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kristi. I'm currently following the WW Blue program, but I do provide the points for all 3 programs on my channel. And I will also link you to any recipes, so if you're not following WW, you can get any nutritional facts that you need there. For meal prep this week, for breakfast prep, I'm going to be doing kind of a twist on my pancake bakes. Janelle, thank you so much for the idea of making my pancake bake into muffins. I'm gonna try them, I'm gonna give it a try and see how it comes out. So I'm gonna be doing butterscotch pancake muffins, excited to try those. And then for lunch prep this week, it's gonna be a chicken fajita casserole. And then for dinners, very easy. Should be a fairly easy meal prep this week. For dinners, I just have 2 basic kits to put together and that's it. So if you wanna see how I pull this all together, then stay with me.
Don't you know that you're beautiful?
Alright, breakfast prep we're going to start with. So like I said, I'm going to be doing butterscotch pancake muffins. For this recipe, I'm going to need 2 cups of Kodiak cakes. I just used the buttermilk kind. I need 2 overripe bananas, which you can tell these are definitely overripe. I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I actually tried finding butterscotch extract, but I couldn't find any, so I'm going to use vanilla. A teaspoon of ground cinnamon. 1½ cups of unsweetened almond milk, and I'm also using Lily's butterscotch baking chips on the top. So you can have 16 for each one. So this is going to be for each serving. So I can basically have 8 of them on the top of each muffin. And finally, I'm going to use some Maple Grove Farms sugar-free syrup. Normally what I do with this is we just have 1/4 cup on the side. I thought about, when Janelle gave me this idea, she asked me about if I've ever tried it using the syrup in there, but I'm not sure that I want to really put 1½ cups of syrup in it. So because I'm afraid it's going to change the consistency. So I think maybe I'll just put some syrup in there and then we'll just drizzle syrup over the top. So I'll see what it does to the consistency as I add it. So the first thing I want to do is weigh out my Kodiak cakes. I've mentioned before, anytime that I measure flour or anything like that, pancake mix, flour, I always weigh it, because if you just pour 2 cups in here, it usually comes out to more than if you weigh it. So for this one serving, 1/2 cup is 53 grams, which means 1 cup would be 106, so I need 212 grams. Alright, so after that's weighed out, I'm going to set that aside, and the first thing I'm going to do is mash up my bananas in the bowl. Alright, now just add the rest of the ingredients. So 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and I have my oven preheating to 350 degrees. And I've already sprayed my muffin tins with cooking spray. And 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. The pancake mix. The 1½ cups of unsweetened almond milk. And then I'm not going to add the syrup right now or the baking chips. Like I said, the baking chips will go on last. The syrup, I'm going to just wait and see what the consistency is. Alright, I'm just going to add 1/4 cup. I think that'll be good, and then the rest of it we can just drizzle over the top of the muffins when they're done. Alright. I was trying to weigh it out. I think this is actually going to make more. We're going to see. Alright, so this is a funny story. Because when I told my husband last night what we were having, that I was going to make my pancake bake into muffins, he said, so I get 4 muffins? And I said, no, you get 2. But look what happened. He's going to have 4 muffins. So apparently my pancake bakes are quite a lot when I make it into a pancake bake. That piece, the piece we have is quite a bit. So this is going to change a little bit because the way that I was going to do the butterscotch chips, I was just going to have 1 point worth. But if I do that, then we're only going to get like 2 on each one. So this way, I'm going to count 2 points for the chips. That way, I'll put 6 chips on the top of each muffin. And so the total will be, for 4 muffins with the chips, will be 5 points. Alright, so I've got the chips all on top of them. So now, normally my pancake bakes go in the 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes. But because these are muffins, I'm assuming they're not going to take 30 minutes. So I'm going to check them after like 15. Oh, look at those. Alright, let me see how they look. They've been in for about 15 minutes. Alright, they're coming out clean. So with the pancake bakes, they rise while they're baking, but then these really kind of flatten down. They're more of, the density is different on these. So I think that they are probably done. I don't want to cook them anymore. So again, everybody's oven varies, so just kind of keep an eye on them. So I'm going to set these aside and let them cool, and then I'll get them in the containers. Alright, so now I'm putting them in the containers. So I've got 4 of them in there, and then what I ended up doing is taking 1/8 of a cup of syrup. I just weighed it on the scale, which is 30 milliliters. And we can use that either to dip the muffins or just drizzle it. So that will still be 0 points, even with the syrup that I put into the bake itself, because this kind of syrup is, you can have 1/4 of a cup for 0 points. So if you remember, I put 1/4 of a cup in the whole bake, and then this is just 1/8 of a cup in each one. So it's still staying with 0 points. So that is going to be breakfast, and that is going to be 5 points. So I'll just finish putting the rest of these in the containers. So again, I ended up doing them, spray your muffin tins generously, bake them in the oven on 350 degrees for right around 15 minutes. And like I said, just kind of keep an eye on them. So there it is, breakfast is done, and again, 5 points for each tray. So now I'm going to move on to lunch. For lunch this week, I'm doing a Hungry Girl recipe. This is a chicken fajita casserole. This, according to her website, comes out to 6 points on green and 5 points on blue and purple. So the only thing I'm going to be doing differently with this recipe is I'm not going to be adding avocado to mine. She has 3 ounces or about 1/2 cup of chopped avocado. I'm not going to be doing that just because my husband doesn't like avocado. So if I decide I want to add avocado to mine, I can always do that during the week before I eat it. So for this recipe, you're going to need 10 6-inch corn tortillas. You'll also need 2 tablespoons of fajita seasoning, 1 pound of boneless, skinless chicken breast. And these are actually, she says cutlets, these are actually tenderloin, but I don't think it really matters because we're going to be cutting them up after we cook them anyways. I actually have a little bit more than a pound here. I have probably about 1 1/4 pounds. I'm on blue, so it's not going to make a difference in points for me. But of course, if you're on green and you add any more chicken, you want to make sure to add more points. We're also going to need about 1/4 teaspoon each of salt and pepper. 2 cups of sliced green and red peppers. And again, the vegetables, I have probably more than what she says. So I'm pretty sure this is a little bit more than 2 cups. And I actually diced mine. She says just slice them, but I did dice mine. Also, 1 cup of sliced mushrooms, 1 cup of sliced zucchini, and I peeled my zucchini. You don't have to peel them. You can actually leave the skins on if you want. And then I just cut those into like quarters. I sliced them and cut them into quarters. And I have more than 1 cup here, but since they're 0 points, I'm gonna try to bulk it up a little bit more. You'll also need 1 cup of salsa, which again, I have a little bit more salsa than 1 cup there. Also, 1 cup of shredded reduced fat Mexican blend cheese. I did not have any Mexican blend, so I'm using reduced fat cheddar. And then the 3 ounces of avocado, which I'm not going to be using. So now we're going to get the chicken started. I have my pan sprayed real good with cooking spray. I have it heating on medium heat. So now I'm just going to get the chicken in there. And then 1/4 teaspoon of salt and pepper. I'm just going to eyeball it. I'll just put some on now, and then when I flip it, I'll put more on it. While that is cooking, now I'm going to take my 2 tablespoons of fajita seasoning, and I'm going to mix in 1/4 cup of water. Set that aside. Now I'm going to cut my tortillas in half, and then I'm just going to go through and cut them into strips. And set that aside. Okay, I just flipped the chicken. I'm going to add more salt and pepper, and I'm just going to let that cook until it's cooked through. And then once that's cooked, then we're going to cook the vegetables. After the chicken is cooked through, I'm going to take it off the pan. And I'm just going to set this aside, and then we're going to cut this into bite-sized pieces once it's cooled down a little bit. So now I'm just going to wipe this pan out. I'm not going to wash it. I'm just going to wipe it out. And then just give it another spray with cooking spray. And now we're going to cook our vegetables. And we're going to let those cook for about 6 to 8 minutes or until they're softened. Might take a little bit more for me because I have so many in this pan. Alright, now while the vegetables are cooking, I'm just going to cut my chicken into thin slices. I thought it said bite-sized pieces, but she says thin slices, so I'll just cut it like this. It's just gonna fall apart anyway, so yeah, I think I'm still gonna just kind of cut it into bite-sized pieces. I'm gonna get my silicone pot holder so this will stop moving around on me. Yeah, see? It's almost impossible to cut that into slices. Alright, it's definitely going to be in bite-sized pieces. So now we're just going to set that aside until the vegetables are done. Alright, once the vegetables are soft, now add the chicken in there. And the fajita seasoning mix. And then mix it up real good. Okay, now what we're going to do is take our prepared baking dish that I have sprayed with cooking spray, and I think I've you zoomed in way too close. Now we're going to take about half of this mixture and just dump it in there. Now we're going to top it with about half of the salsa. and half of the cheese. Then the remaining chicken mixture. Then the remainder of the salsa. And if you're using avocado, this is when you would put the avocado on top of the salsa. Next comes our tortilla strips. And finally, the rest of the cheese. And now it's gonna go in the 350-degree oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. So basically we wanna make sure the cheese is melted and the tortilla strips are browned. So they should turn brown and crispy. It's done. It looks delicious. I didn't let it brown all the way. As you can see, it's starting to brown. The reason being is I am actually teleworking most of the week this week coming up. So I want to be able to kind of stick mine in the convection oven to crisp it up, because if you put this in the microwave, it's not going to keep the top crispy. So I'm going to let that cool down, and then I'm going to cut it into sticks and put it in the containers. Alright, I guess I didn't let it cool down enough. It's still pretty hot. So that is what it looks like. So again, that is 5 points on blue and purple and 6 points on green. Alright, there's our lunches, and I just took a bite of it, and it has so much flavor. It is so good. And I also did try a little tiny bite of the muffins, and those were good too. So I'll have a more detailed review on my weigh-in video on Thursday. So if you're new on my weigh-in videos, actually, it's my Thursday video, but it doesn't come out until Friday usually. I usually give a meal prep review to say how I liked the dishes that I made and if there were any changes that I made. Based on the quick taste that I just tried, I love them. But as we reheat them, sometimes that changes things, so I'll keep you posted on that. So now I just have a couple dinner kits to put together. Okay, I'm moving on to dinners now, and I don't have any snacks to do this week because usually I cut up a cantaloupe, which I don't have that. The snacks, we're just making do with what we have. So we have pudding, popcorn that we'll have at nighttime, and then I do have some blackberries, so I'll probably just wash up some blackberries and put those in a bowl. So for my dinner, I didn't do my normal beginning part for new viewers because I honestly, at first I didn't even think I was gonna have any dinner kits, but very quickly, this is all I'm doing is just portioning everything out, putting everything in the bag. I'm not cooking it like I do the breakfast and lunch. So I just have 2 of them this week that I've put together, and I've actually pretty much already done it. So the one night that I'm gonna have, we're actually having a pot roast today that I did this morning, and I planned on doing it in the Instant Pot, but I decided to just throw it in my slow cooker. That way it's cooking while I'm meal prepping. And then we're gonna have enough of that, so we're gonna have pot roast tomorrow night. And then that's gonna bump our normal salmon night to Tuesday. So I'm doing bourbon glazed salmon with rice and broccoli. The rice, I just used the 90-second rice, so I'm not weighing that out or anything. I'm just gonna put the broccoli in the bag, and then for my salmon, I already have the marinade put together, and I have the salmon in there marinating with it. So I will put the recipe that I use for the bourbon glazed salmon down in the description box below. I also have a cook with me video out that will show you how to make it as well. The marinade is a mixture of 1 to 2 teaspoons of ginger, 2 tablespoons of Lakanto brown sugar, or any 0-point brown sugar. You can use Swerve if you want to. I've used both of them and they're both just as good. A garlic clove, 1 ounce of bourbon, 1.5 tablespoons of soy sauce, and 1 tablespoon of lime juice. So you just combine that all in a bag and marinate it overnight. So normally when I meal prep on Sunday, I do my salmon Monday. So this is gonna be very marinated because I completely forgot that I'm bumping this to Tuesday. You know what, I think I'll still do it tomorrow night, and then that way we don't have the pot roast 2 nights in a row. So I'll end up doing this on Monday night, tomorrow night, and then I'll do the pot roast. The leftover pot roast will be Tuesday, so that'll work, because I don't know how how marinated it would end up being if I left that in there for 2 days. So that's all we do with that one. And like I said, the rice, I don't put that in there. I just leave that in my pantry until the night I do it. The next one is mozzarella stuffed pork chops with roasted potatoes and peppers. And also, if you're new, I write the points for the entire kit. So everything for the dinner. So like the bourbon salmon is 4 points on blue, 4 points on purple, and 8 points on green. And that includes the half a cup of rice, which is 3 points. If you're on purple and you use just brown rice instead of this, then your whole dinner would only be 1 point. The mozzarella pork chops is 9 blue, 6 purple, and 9 green. For this one, I'm just gonna do roasted potatoes and peppers with it. So I have an orange pepper, and actually I have a zucchini left too that I'm gonna go ahead and cook that up with it. I'll just roast these all on a pan in the oven. And then I have 10 ounces of potatoes. So we basically have 3 points worth of potatoes. So I just weigh them out. You can have 5 ounces of a russet potato for 3 points. So I do 10, and that way it's for my husband and I. So everything in this kit will just be enough for 2. So it makes it impossible to overeat when we do these dinner kits. The other things I have is just a teaspoon of breadcrumbs that gets sprinkled over the pork chops, and 1 ounce of part skim Polly-O mozzarella cheese. I basically just put about a ½ ounce in each pork chop. So I kind of just cut a slit in the pork chop and just stick the mozzarella cheese in there. And then I cook this in the air fryer. And then I have my pork chops that I've already pre-packaged. The recipe itself calls for 2 4-ounce boneless pork chops, but I have 6 ounce, so I'll just add an extra point to mine. So the points are based on the recipe. And then my bags, because I always get asked, these are reusable bags. Everything that you see in today's video, and any meal prep video for that matter that I do, I always try to link direct links down in the description box below to Amazon that will take you so that you can, so like I'll have these gallon bags. I also have snack and sandwich bag size. And also to write on these, I'm just using a dry erase marker, and then it washes off real easy with warm soapy water. So everything, my scale will be listed down below, these bags, anything you see, right down to my Fitbit, my convection oven, and my coffee maker. Because you would not believe how many times people will see things in the background and ask about it. So I try and include everything that I see on there. Also, any of the recipes that I'm listing today will be down in the description box as well. So that's it for my dinner kit. So the last thing I have to do is wash my berries. If you follow me, you know how I wash my fruit. If you're new, I basically just take my fruit and any of my produce. I use my OXO salad spinner, which I love this thing. And I just put some vinegar in here. I do about 4 parts water to 1 part vinegar. And then I'll just put some water in there and let it sit in the vinegar water, and then just let it dry on a paper towel. Alright, no close up this week because you pretty much saw everything close up. The only thing you didn't see is my snack container, which has my container that I keep in the fridge, 2-point puddings, and 2-point Greek yogurt. So I could have used the excuse that I had a stressful couple of days, but I didn't. I managed to get through it. I pushed through and got meal prep done. Again, I want to thank you all. When I just unloaded my camera, I saw that there were a bunch more comments. So I want to thank you all so much for your well wishes. We really appreciate it. So make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you like meal prep videos. And if you're new, I hope you'll subscribe to my channel. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. I'm Kristi, and I'm planning us healthy. You can have 5 ounces of a russet potato for, you can have 5 ounces of a russet potato for 3 ounces. No. You can have 5, oh my gosh. You can have 5 ounces of eating. I have my snacks out here, so alright, I see him walking in. Here he comes. And there he is.
Hey!
Your head's cut off. You have to come duck down and say hi.
Hi. What? Don't do that. I want breakfast.
Breakfast? You're gonna eat now? That's for this week. Try one. Tell them how it is.
It's still warm?
And then, hey, see over here? Can you take care of that for me?
Take care of what?
All those dishes?
Yeah, I'll get right on it.
Look at our little new sign up there. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh my god.
Good?
Yeah.
I tried the lunch. The lunch is really good
Damn.
too. Well, that's nice with them 2 beers sitting on the table. Are you double fisting?
No, I'm getting ready to pour them in a freezer mug.